What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Team Solemn Circus live video. It's on the left side here. We have Yubel going up against Branded on the right side here. You know, Yubel being a deck that has come out with a couple rounds of support. I know there's one more support at least coming out. Before we dive in, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, helps the channel a lot. We are going to be seeing a Mature Chronicle being activated here, and then this is like one of the cards like common from the last set. I believe Legend of Destruction's coming out this week. Should be came out yesterday, so the deck should be getting upgraded. We're going to be seeing a Dark Beckoning Beast being summoned, letting us search for a copy of the Gates. I know the deck gets stronger and stronger as time goes by, and they're going to be able to activate the effect, and we're going to get to search for a copy of itself, or I guess one of the Beckoning Beasts here. So it's really important to note is that this deck gets a little bit more power, you know, being able to summon out, for example, a copy of the Lotus, and then we can activate the effect, tribute it, summon it out, or destroy it, whatever you want to. Summon out a copy of Spirit of Yubel. You have to add a card. And what's really cool about this is that the deck gets more and more support, like I mentioned earlier, but it doesn't just turn into a Yubel deck. It turns also into a Fiend-like deck. It's going to be called like Fiend Link, if you guys have not heard of it. It's really cool. Has some lots of cool monsters that goes into. You know, I'm definitely picking it up myself. I'm a huge fan of the Unchained card, which you do have to play in it, like the Yama and of course the Rage and the Shawarma. We're going to be seeing Nightmare Pain going to activate, you know, being able to search for a trap. And then we're going to be activating the Spirit of Yubel to summon out the copy of a regular Yubel here, which is pretty cool. This is going to be like a Super Poly on board, which is really nice. The trap being able to activate Super Poly. I don't know if Mature Chronicle is being used right now, but it's really cool to see those, you know, those continuous spells. And then, of course, like a trap that lets you be able to do it like its thing. But we're going to go into a Muckraker here. You know, we're going to activate the effect, pitching a copy of the Nightmare Pain, summon back out a copy of Yubel. I would have perhaps maybe gone for Yama here instead, but we wanted to be able to search for that copy of Super Poly here. We do ask, can we read the copy of the Love and Thunder? And so now they have two Super Polys set, which is kind of cool. You know, one being a trap card in Eternal Favorite, and the other one as in the regular Super Poly. We're going to see the end phase. The Lotus is going to summon itself back out, and then we're going to see Yubel tributed off to keep itself on the field, which is pretty cool. We're going to start off with a copy of Albion, setting the copy of Retribution here as our first card. You know, always being one of the best cards to have in your hand to let you essentially get any other draw. There is debate that sometimes you want to dump Albaz prior in case you open up a good card that really uses Albaz. But if we already have something like that we can play, or a copy of the opening, discarding the Albaz, it looks like we have a few things we have to play attention to. So we normal summon out a Quem. You know, we are playing against at least, well, we know that there's two known Super Polys. One of them just being a continuous trap, and the other one being the Super Poly itself. But we're going to dump Albaz here. You know, if we do get rid of the Yubel on the field, we are going to be in a good time. So we are going to activate the Branded Fusion using Albaz alongside a copy of Cartesia. This lets us have more access for that copy of Quem. And so we are going to activate the effect of the Albion as well as the Quem to summon out the copy of Cartesia here. And then we're going to be banishing with Albion. There's a world where you actually just summon out the copy of Albaz maybe and then discard, but I'm going to go for, yes, that was definitely a misplay there if this was the line that we're going for. And we have Giving Puppet in the hand here, okay. Then on the summon, we're going to see them go Super Poly, the real one, so we can't respond. We probably should have set on summon, activate Mirror Jade as turn player, but that's fine. We would have forced them to flip up that Super Poly, but this doesn't really matter. Like, we're getting cooked here anyways. Trying to think if we have any other like line to play through it now, or if there's any like different variation of what we should do, I suppose. Yeah, the on-summon Mirror Jade effect is probably the best thing we should do there. Because like if we summon out Mirror, or let's say here, we activate the effect of Quem, summon out Albaz. Albaz activates effects, or yeah. But like what do we summon out instead? Garanganol maybe? We have a talent to take here, taking the Love and Thunder. What's also really cool about this is like if you summon a monster in defense or in attack position, you actually are forced to go into battle phase to be able to attack into the Yubel. You know, it's saying, you know, monsters you control must attack if able, and it has to attack Yubel is really cool. And they do have Nightmare Pain that can actually just use it to use the Yubel to summon it out. Like they can fuse once again. But we're going to be seeing them activate the effect to Reborn out, reborning out the spirit of Yubel here. And we're just looking at our extra deck here. We have 2 cards in the hand. I'm not too sure what we can really do. And if we have Branded Opening, we could, or we had Branded Red, we could add back Albaz to use it plus the copy of whatever. We're going to go Battle Phase, Attack. Nothing really happens. We're going to go End Phase, Albion Effects. This could let us add Branded in Red here. So we can get rid of that Yubel before it goes back to our opponent's side of the field because of talents. We're going to go Branded Opening. Then we're going to activate the effect of Branded Opening, sending the copy of Droplets. And we can go for Aluber add back. Or Aluber add. And then Aluber is going to activate this effect, adding a copy of Branded Fusion here. So we already have Branded in Red. Cartesia is going to add back, and then we're going to go Branded in Red here, targeting the Quem. Then we're going to use all 3 of those to go into a copy of Guardian Chimera. Alright, we don't have the Albaz Engrave anymore. That's right, because we put them both in the Banish Zone. Okay. And then Guardian Chimera will be able to activate its effects. We get the draw and pop. Pop in the Mature Chronicle and the Trap card here. Okay. And then Mirror Jade will resolve, getting rid of all their cards because, you know, they did use Fuse with it. And then we're going to see Yubel being summoned back from the graveyard by the Spirit of Yubel effect. And then they're just going to be drawing for turn. And they are on 0 cards here. We have lots of cards in our hand. But yeah. We're going to see them being able to activate discarding a card to summon back with the Spirit of Yubel. Yubel is going to activate its effects. And they're going to search for a copy of Samsara Lotus. Lotus is going to be able to summon itself out, activating the effect to summon out from the deck. Going another copy of the Spirit of Yubel. And they can actually go into a copy of the rank 10, which is really cool. You know, we could go into even the rank 10, the new one, the Varudus, the Final Bringer of End Times. So, you know, when your opponent activates a card effect, you can attach, you know, negate the activation, and then you can attach another one to destroy a card on the field. We're going to go for a copy of the Gustav Max, burned for 2,000. Then go for a copy of the Libre. It's going to be able to gain attack as well here. And then attack into the Guardian Chimera, making us take the damage. And like it does take us pretty low, and we are forced to attack into the Yubel, which is very problematic. They're going to go end phase, then Samsara is going to summon back out, going to tribute it off the Yubel. And it's going to pass turn on this. But yeah, can we play through this is the question. Like, Brand does have a lot of gas. Like, you don't have to play it, like, constantly burn through. Like, we have Puppet and Graveyard, and if we end up puppeting them turn 3 where they have 0 cards, chances are we're winning that game. But like we have Retribution, add back the Branded in red if we need to. We have Branded Fusion as well using the Albaz as well as Lubellion. Do for the copy of Albion here. And we do have copy of a bunch of cards in the graveyard and banish. I know we are on 2 Quem at the moment, so that second copy of Quem can come up. We're going to activate the Albion to banish the copy of Albion as well as the Albaz. Now 2 Albazes are once again in the banish zone. We're going to go for a copy of Lubellion. Lubellion is going to be discarding a card. And we're asking about the Libre if it has a permanent attack gain, which I believe it does. We're going to discard a copy of Thrust. Then we're going to put back the Albaz alongside the copy of Albion. We probably should have just not gone for Albion there at all. If that was like, we shouldn't have gone for Lubellion at all in that case, you know, just wasting another card. I suppose we do want another card on the fields for Cartesia. And then we're going to be able to tag out. And Lost is going to be put on the field. And then we can just go Cartesia. But Cartesia plus Lubellion, the fusion monster, I should say, doesn't really help us out. Like, yes, we kind of want to have... And we're not even using it. We're going for something completely different here. What? Why would you want to use the Aluber in the hand? I know we had this normal summon out the copy of Cartesia, but still. And maybe more bodies for Branded in red. Be able to pop more cards. We're going to banish Retribution to add back the Branded in red. Activate Branded in red, target the copy of a Luber here. So maybe we want to have the Luber in graveyard so we can actually able to use... Oh, we returned the copy of Chimera with the Lubellion. That makes sense. So we want to go to Lubellion and put back the Guardian Chimera so we can pop 2, draw 1 again. That makes so much sense. Okay. Yeah, you definitely have to go for Lubellion in that line because you do want to be able to put back the Guardian Chimera so you get another copy of it. The Guardian Chimera can't attack directly, but we can still deal 55, which is pretty nice. And then we do ask to read the Terror Incarnate here, which they do have in their deck. You know, we could have looked it up on Neuron, but at that point, you know, I know they were playing it. You know, you should look it up on Neuron, though, I suppose. I just don't have my phone currently. And yeah. It's going to get banished off the copy. Oh, and they summoned it out. Okay, that makes more sense. I was like, they can't just look in their deck. I was going to say, you know, normally you don't do that, but we're going to be banishing it off there. We do attack for 55 here. Because the copy of the Guardian Chimera cannot attack directly because of Branded in red. During the end phase, because Titanic Clouds into the graveyard with the copy of Mirror Jade by banishing the Terror Incarnate, we're going to be summoning out the copy of Quem. Quem's going to dump the Albaz here. And then we're going to be seeing the Albion effect, setting a copy of Branded Opening. We're going to add back the copy of the Cartesia and just pass turn on this. And we have a lot of gas here. You know, whenever we want to summon out a copy of the Quertus from the extra deck, using that copy of the Garangadal here, Quem will be able to summon back out the copy of Albaz. And we do have Rinbrum in the graveyard as well as summon back the Albaz as well. And we have the Mercurier in the hand. They are on 1 card here, so we will be able to stop that if we need to. We're going to Mercurier negate. And the Nightmare Prey is going to activate, destroying the copy of the Spirit of Yubel here. And they can search for the Grave Squirmer, searching for Grinder Golem here instead. This might be prior to the Grave Squirmer being released, or actually, I don't even know what this card does. Just going to take it out here to look at it. If you control a Fiend, quick effect, yeah, this doesn't do anything here. Yeah, there may not be a reason, or we may not have access to Nightmare Throne. I feel like you can. We may not have it yet, you know, the cards have just come out. I know I picked up 2 of them from the from locals, so not a lot of people have the access to get them. There's not that many at our local scene. I think only 3 cases got cracked. Maybe 4 cases got cracked. Yeah, either 3, 4, 5. I'm not too sure. But we're going to go for the copy of the Lulualith. Summon out the copy of the Albaz here to fuse. But we choose not to fuse there. Okay. We're going to activate the effect of Mirror Jade, banishing the copy of our Sending Sanctifier here to banish. And we're just going to go battle phase and attack. That's just going to be game right there, going in game 1. The deck is really weird to play grind-wise. Yubel has a lot of grinding games as well as Albaz can grind. But there's a lot of times, if you crack Albaz or the branded deck's board, you're going to be kind of losing. But in this case, Quem is just a crazy card to be able to play. But having to deal with the Yubel monsters, not being able to destroy by battle card effects and you take the damages can be quite difficult there. Maybe Liebert was not the play. We should have maybe gone for a Yama line, but they could also not be playing Yama as well. Not everyone is on it. It could be just a pure Yubel deck, not really wanting to jump into those fiend stuff. But I definitely feel like Nightmare Throne would have been searched there. That card's pretty good with the deck. So I'm just going to safely assume that they just don't have it yet or just practicing for the deck and getting it. Or maybe just have one copy of it or something like that. I don't really know. But yeah, the deck definitely gets a lot better once you start getting those copies of Nightmare Throne into the deck. And if we get that new fusion as well, the one that's coming out, I think perhaps in one of the side sets, I think it's going to be a really good contender right now to play against. I think it just outright beats Tempai, so it's pretty nice. We're going to see a Samsara Lotus being normal summoned here. Then I go for the copy of the Spirit of Yubel. We're getting a little bit of close to time, so they're going to see a little bit of speed up here. I also don't play any hand traps, so they know that they're going to be pretty safe. They're going to be destroying with the Spirit of Yubel. I just activate Ask to Read. They're still good to continue. They can summon out a copy of, or search for the Mature Chronicle here. I feel like this is when you probably search for the Nightmare Throne instead. Where then we see the Spirit of the Yubel summon out the copy of the Yubel because it was destroyed off the Nightmare Pain. We also see the Trap in the hand as well. We're going to see a couple sets. Then I asked to read the Yubel as well. And then end phase, we're going to see some Samsara. We're going to hit that with a Baldrake here. So Yubel will actually end up dying. And I was like, okay, if we find a way to make Yubel die during the end phase, I can't get hit with a copy of Super Poly here. Because chances are they're going to have to, or I guess Super Poly for the 11th Thunder. So I'll have to kind of find a way to play through it. We will still get hit with Super Poly regardless of what we do. But it's just important to not get hit with a Super Poly 11th Thunder. You want to be able to minimize the damages that you can get. We're going to be seeing us go for the Quem. Quem's going to activate its effects. We're going to see that get ashed. A pretty nice ash, if I do say so myself. Quem is a pretty crazy card. There might be a chance we already have the Aluber or something else. We do have the Thrust here. Thrust cancel just for Branded Fusion if we need it. Or we can go for a Duster in the hand. We're thinking about it. I mean, Duster does get rid of the cards. We search for Fusion Deployment instead. So we think we can crack the board through it. And we already have the Branded Fusion there. They do hit us with the D-Barrier Call Fusion. Oh, yikes. I suppose at that point we can't get Super Polyed as well as, we can't really do anything else here. So they're going to go enter battle phase. They go Eternal Favorite, summon back up the Spirit. We are now forced to attack into it, which is kind of unfortunate for us. So we're going to go Baldrake on the summon here, and then they're going to be banishing it. But we can't actually activate the effect because it has to be a extra deck monster, a Link, Ritual, or whatever, to be able to activate that effect. So we actually cannot there. We should have read Baldrake. That was a heavy misplay. Could you imagine if a monster was someone you could just send one? That'd be crazy. Yeah, no, we can't do that. It has to be an extra deck monster. So yeah, we would have attacked into it. I don't know if it would have changed anything there. We set a couple cards. We have, yeah, no, Branded Red is huge here. Going for Masquerade. Yeah, that definitely does hurt. They have Mature Chronicle here. We're just going to place a counter there. Thinking about it, like, we have Fusion Deployment, so they have no monsters. We're just going to set it. It doesn't really matter. Like, I guess we're just kind of in trouble anyways here. But we could have just let it crash. We probably should have summoned out it in defense position, actually. That should have been a better play. Yeah, summon out in defense position. And then just have Quem on the field in defense as well. You pass turn, they draw. Doesn't really do anything. They could obviously destroy it. Summon out Yubel, search. Yeah, it's a little bit hard, I suppose. You can't turn Quem into attack, so you can't even get the whatever it's called there. But we do see a Super Poly being happen here for a Dracostapelia. They're tend to go battle. We do summon out the copy of the Masquerade there to protect our life points. You know, because they do control a fusion monster. They're just going to pass turn on this here. And we do have Fusion Deployment to get us there. You know, it being a crazy card. We're going to activate the effect. We get to summon out a copy of the Quem. Or not Quem. We need a Quem Fusion. We really do. Summon a copy of Cartesia here. And then Cartesia effect. I really hope we get a Quem Fusion. That's actually good too. It's going to be kind of hard to come back from this one. We're waiting on the Dear Servant, and the Dear Servant's going to send a copy of the Albion here. Then we get to search for Quem. Yeah. Normal Quem, Quem Dump Albaz. Chances are it's going to be hit with that copy of Dracostapelia here. We're going to go effect, doesn't get hit with Dracostapelia. We can't chain the Cartesia because of your servant. That's where we're going to go end phase, Albion effect. And we're just going to be setting a copy of... Yeah. Or adding Branded Fusion to hand. I suppose that's the best that we can do. I'm going to pass turn on this. They're going to normal summon the Samsara. Once again, activate the effect of Nightmare Pain, destroying it to be able to search their deck. And they realize they don't have any more targets, I believe. So yeah, not playing with Nightmare Thrones. Most likely can't pick them up. I guess I'll have to bring them to locals so that they can be used, because I won't be using mine for a little bit. Definitely don't want to be stopping people from playing the deck that they want to play. It's a really cool deck as well. So I'll have to be doing that. We're going to go Mature Chronicle, get another counter because it was summoned. And they do have the Spirit in the hand. That makes sense. A third copy of the Spirit. You definitely play 3 of that. And they still can't do that tiers. They can't search for anything. Okay. They're going to go battle phase, attack. We're going to attempt to activate the effect. It's going to get hit with a counter there. Our Quem does die. We take some damage. Then we're just going to pass turn on this. We have Branded Fusion and another card in the hand here. We do have the Branded Fusion to this. We're going to go Lubellion as well as the Albaz. Go for the copy of the Albion here. And we shouldn't have added for the Cartesia effect the last turn. But they are really low on life points here. So we go battle phase, attack on the Samsara, has 0 attack, and we end up taking the game that way through good old battle damage. We did see a little bit of a misplay game 2, but we had, like, I mean, I guess it's like kind of important there. We had tragedy in the hand. Yeah, definitely going for that. Sending the ball drake is definitely a little bit rough. But regardless, hope you enjoyed watching the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to see more content like this. Don't forget to stay safe. Peace.